Hello, welcome to Darkshed Live, episode 1. Thanks for joining me. Here we go again. How are you all? Hope you're all staying safe and you're at home and you're well. It's been a funny few days here. I thought I was going to get opportunity to spend some time in the darkroom. That hasn't happened. It's kind of been chilling really. Actually disconnected quite a lot from mobile and computers and stuff, and it's been really nice. Went for a few exercise walks in the local area. It's been a good chance to explore and discover a few things I've never seen before. So I took some photos and I'll be stacking those up to develop next week. As always, you can put some questions, comments in the chat window, and in the comment section after the stream has been uploaded, or you can follow along on Twitter and tag darkshed live to get in touch. There's loads of people who have been online this week, probably more than normal, as everybody's spending more time at home. And there's been loads of photos posted, everyone's tagging each other and doing round robins and stuff. And there was one on Instagram where Hilary Clarke posted a wonderful photogram of I think it was a baby's dress, and it really caught my eye. And I'll put the link in the comments so you can check it out afterwards. Please do. But it made me think that photograms are actually a really easy-ish way of making images without the need for an enlarger. So if you haven't got like a full darkroom setup, this is a good first step in kind of getting all your equipment together and start to make some images, which can be quite fun. I actually did a test earlier. I'll grab it. Oh, it's got stuck. Alright. So everyone is like, this is a photogram created from this really lovely tea towel, the Tiki Bar and Cafe. So I took part of the tea towel, overlaid it onto some photographic paper, exposed onto it and developed. And that's what a photogram is. And you can do that with all sorts of materials. It's better to use something that like partially blocks light completely and partly allows it all the way through. But we'll do some tests and I can show you what the results of those are. So firstly, I'm going to run through what you need. Now, a lot of suppliers, this is UK based, are still doing mail order for what you need to do this. So it might be an idea to get on the case next week, because I've got a funny feeling at some point things are going to change and the conditions of lockdown are going to increase, so we may not be able to actually get hold of supplies at some point. So no harm in stocking up on chemicals now. Don't bulk buy, obviously, just buy what you need. Same goes for eggs. So the first thing you need, and this applies to a lot of darkroom stuff, so this is a good reference for that. You need some paper developer. This is Ilford multigrade. This is a really old pack of multigrade, which actually says for Australia on it. They come in 1 litre tubs like this. Other brands available, obviously, and you dilute it down for use. You need a stop bath. In this case, I'm just going to use water. Keep things nice, as simple as possible. Then you need fix. This is what I use, Ilford Rapid Fix. This is a huge 5 litre tub of it, but again, this comes in 1 litre tubs, and you dilute that down as well. You'll need some jugs for measuring out your chemicals and diluting them. Now, sort of quantities that you end up using, in the trays I've got, the 8x10 trays, I use 1 litre at a time. So you'd need a 1 litre jug, and then also you'd need something small, something for measuring out smaller quantities of the actual chemicals. And you'd need some trays. Now, to keep things simple, if you don't want to invest in darkroom trays, or you can't find any at the moment, you could do small prints in little tubs like this, you know, from takeout. I'm sure a lot of you are freezing food at the moment, doing batch cooking. We certainly are, and freezing food. Try and keep a few to the side. You'd need 3 of these, 4. If you're next to a sink, you can get away with 3 of these. Tongs are really useful, so you don't touch the chemicals as you're using them. Obviously, you could use gloves, but again, gloves might be hard to come by at the moment, or you might not want to. I've got a secret stash here, don't tell anyone. And that's it. Like, another useful thing for photographs are, it's like a perspex sheet or a piece of glass. So if you're doing if you're making a photogram of a flat object, it's quite useful to be able to put something on top to hold that perfectly flat on the surface of the photographic paper. You need to be able to make the room light tight that you can do these in as well. So you can either do it at night when hopefully it's a lot darker and you've got a street light right outside your window. Black bags, gaffer tape, whatever it takes, make your room light tight. Ideally, you'd use a safe light as well. I'll pull this one through without breaking anything. No, I can't. You could do this in pitch black. It's going to be a bit more tricky, but invest in the safe light anyway. You know, they're useful for all sorts of things. And the final thing you need is a light source to expose the paper. You could just use your room light for this. If you've got a lamp, it's really useful to have something with a switch on so you can actually time the exposures. Today I'm going to be using a flash. I use for an off-camera flash, my Nikon SB600 speed light. And instead of using timer for exposure, I just trigger the flash and then I can count how many flashes it takes for the exposure. The thing is to be consistent with everything. So your light source should always be the same distance away. And then as long as you don't move that, your exposures are relevant to relative to how long you're triggering them for. So we've got a question come in, just have a look at that, from Alex. Cat litter trays also make a good option. Sounds great. A B&M open at the moment? I don't know. Yeah, basically anything that's shallow and then wide enough for your paper to fit in. I'm going to use just 5x7 paper today. I'd suggest using resin coated paper just because it's quick to use and wash. Same suppliers you can get your paper from still, so stock up, get some in if you need it. I think that's it. Oh, the other final thing that you obviously need is the objects that you're going to use to expose over the paper to create the shapes and to create the images. Like I said, something that's the obvious easiest thing to use are negatives. So in fact you're making like a contact print if you use negatives. But you can lay those over your paper, put the glass perspex over the top, expose, and you've created a contact print. But you can also use, I'm going to try using these today, little Mario characters. And then the main one I want to do is this bottle that I've got here. It's an old chemistry bottle from my mum's pharmacy. It'll be quite interesting to do. Because the light will pass through this, but it'll be diffused by the glass as well, and it'll be blocked by this lettering, so you actually see it. These, it'll just be completely blocked by it, hopefully. Okay, any questions? Any further questions on that? Ping them in the comments. One day I'll get used to which side they are. Okay, so let's switch camera view. Right, so hopefully you can see the setup here. Now, I'm doing it on the enlarger. Like I say, we don't need, actually need an enlarger. This is just my dry area. And I've got my paper here. Let's get the object that I'm going to expose. Let's do the negatives first, because that's hopefully you'll have some negatives kicking around that you can do this. I'm not going to take them out of sleeves. This sleeve, it will create a funny effect, but we'll leave it in there. The process is you take the paper, you turn your lights off, go to safe light, put your photosensitive paper down, put the object down on top of that, and then you put your glass on it, or your perspex, and then you expose over the top into that. That camera's not working, is it? Happened again. Let's try and get this camera working. Sorry about this. There we go. Right. So I've got my dry setup here. Got a tray setup over here, developer, stop, fix, and wash. There's one I tested earlier. Take that out. And turn the main light off and go to safe light. Right, so I'm going to do like a test strip at the moment, so I've got a bit of card as well, a black card. Get the paper out of the box. So you can tell which side of the paper is photosensitive. Slight sheen on it. Put that down like that. Negatives over the top. And a piece of glass. My flash ready here. Now I've got the flash set on the lowest power, I hope. I'm going to hold it right up to the top. So, basic test strip, just firing the flash rather than timed exposures. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take the paper out, over to the developer, right into the developer. So this multi-grade developer, you mix at a ratio of 1+9, so that's 100 ml of developer and 900 ml of water. And then the development time at 20 degrees C is a minute for the new resin coated 5. As you can see, the image comes out after about 20 seconds. That is looking way too overexposed already. Okay, let me take it out there. As I said before, I'm just using water as a stop bath today, nice and simple. Give it a good wash in there. That just helps reduces the transmission of the developer over to the fixer and helps prolong the life of it. It also stops development of the image fairly rapidly. 30 seconds in the fixer. Fixer's diluted 1+4. I think I did this at 1+4. You can change the dilution dependent on how economical you want to be. It takes 30 seconds at 1+4. Off my head. And there we go. Turn the lights on. So, hopefully you can see that. Hopefully you can see it's massively overexposed. What you're looking for, particularly negative, nice white areas. Reset the timer. If I chuck that on a piece of plastic. So if you do, like with test strips, I don't always do a full wash, but if you're doing a full wash, it's 2 minutes or 30 seconds under running water. There we go. Hopefully you can see that, or not see that, case may be. So we need to reduce the exposure time, or the intensity of the light on that. And to do, I was already at the top of the enlarger here. So I'm going to use this, or hopefully that will reduce it enough. Right, so lights off. Make sure that that camera's still working okay. Like it. Right, now you could, I should, be cutting these into strips, the paper, the test strips. Otherwise I'm just going to pile through a whole load of paper doing it like this. But there we go. Needs must. So paper at the bottom, negatives, glass. What I might try and do as well, just move the flash a bit further away. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I just realised one of the problems might have been that I was holding the card quite far above the paper, so the light would have been reflecting and leaking around underneath. Let's see what we get here. So 1 minute on that. Just something to be wary of when doing it, because with an enlarger, the light's going straight down, so when you're dodging and burning, it's quite directional, the shadows that you're casting, or using a piece of card, block the light completely. But with a flash, this is going to be bouncing off the back wall, it's leaking everywhere, so it's potentially going underneath the card. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Right, these are looking a lot better. Even under safe light, well actually you can probably see it better than I can. But under safe light I can tell that it's substantially better. There's a minute. Quick wash in there. Into the fix. Anybody undertaking any photographic project while on lockdown? I've got a couple in mind, but no, I just want to kind of chill for a bit before I really start thinking about that. It's the unknown as well, isn't it? How long it's going to go on for. But it's going to go at least a couple of months, I would say. Right, so this is looking loads better. Get that one off there. Right, can you see that? So that was 1 flash, 2, 3, 4, 3 flashes is looking spot on. So I'll just do a full size one of those at the correct exposure, and we'll move on to something else. In fact, I'm not going to bother. You can imagine what that's going to be like. I'll just stick this under the print section a second, turn the lights on. So yeah, there we go. That's the test strip. 1, 2, 3, 4. The flash was on the lowest power that it would go to. And that's, as you can see from the previous one, which was really overexposed. That's given a lot better result. Quite like that one actually. Right, I'm not going to do a full one of those. You can imagine what it's like. A real quick, easy way of making a contact print from your negs. Obviously, the bigger your neg, the bigger your contact print. So if you've got some nice 4x5s or even medium format, they're really nice like that. So yeah, right. Now, my favourite thing to do with photograms isn't with negatives at all. It's with actual objects. So I'm going to dive straight in and use this bottle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the bottle, I really like the text on it. If you get something with contact between the object that you're putting on and the paper, that's going to be sharp. Anything else would appear the equivalent of being out of focus. And it's just, everything else is just from shadows cast by the depth of the object. Whereas anything in contact, you're actually kind of you're making a print from it almost. So I'm going to do it that way. Now that does mean that text will be back to front, but then I'm going to make a contact print of it. So this way around, we're almost creating a negative of the scene. The areas outside that are most exposed to light will be black, and any other areas will be white. And then when I create a contact print, that will be reversed. Let's turn the lights off. And turn this off as well. Oh, make sure it's still working. Right. No paper. I'll do some paper for this, so I'm not really wasting. So I don't know what the exposure time's going to be like. So I'm looking to get a good exposure, just to show the shape of the bottle. Let's just do one that size to start with. If we go straight back in the box. So in this case, no need for a piece of glass or perspex over the top. Check the shiny side, and that goes over there. Now, I can't really do test strips for an object like this, so I'm just going to have to. That last one was 3, wasn't it? I'm just going to go for the same. See what we get. 2, 3. Move the object. Paper goes over to the developer. Slide it in, make sure it goes under the water, give it a little agitation. So what sort of things you could do this with are, I think things that give best results are where you've got a varying degree of light that is transmitted through the object. Like completely solid objects, you're just going to create a silhouette, which is fine, you know, if that's what you're looking for. But like leaves are a good example here. Classic like kind of cyanotype look. You can do that through this process as well. This, oh, that's really nice. Into the stop, and looking at that, pretty happy with that exposure straight off. The text is looking white, so that'll come through perfectly black. And there's a nice graduation around the edge of the bottle. I haven't fixed that for 30 seconds. Not really first for the test strip. And just need to get washed. I'll just turn the light on quickly just to have a quick look at it. But that is looking spot on. It's a bit of a shame because I've had to hold the light to the side of the head of the enlarger to get it far enough away. Possibly do 2 flashes, but bring it closer so it's more central because it's coming in at an angle. But I'm just going to go for a full-size print on that. Let's just check everything's still working. All cameras are still on. Excellent. Now, I've got a feeling that this bottle is going to be too big. 4x5. I'm going to have to go up to a 8x10 paper for that. Put over here. Have that. I've just stocked up on a couple of boxes of RC paper, just so I've got some supplies for the next few months. Close the box. Okay, paper down, make sure it's the right way round, nice and central. I might just move the flash more to kind of the top right of the image, because it's going to cast a shadow, a bit like a still life, and I want that shadow, it'd be nice if that shadow kind of came off at this angle. There. Let's give that a go. 1, 2, 3. that's looking good. Nice angle there on that. Hopefully the detail's going to start coming out in the middle of it now. There we go. So yeah, the angle, like, because the flashlight is quite directional, we're actually kind of getting a shadow cast from it. There's something to experiment with, is different light sources and the position of them, and how, like, the higher an object is, like the more depth it has, the larger that shadow is going to be cast by it. Quick wash in the stop. Actually, I'm not, these tongs, I got them recently for some workshops, and they're not, you can scratch the surface quite easily. Not a huge fan of them actually. I'd rather have like rubber tipped ones, but I had some old metal ones with they just had little pieces of rubber that went over the end. But the rubber's just deteriorated too much. And amputation in the fix. "30 seconds, so we can put the light on now." Oh yeah, that's looking good. Right, so I'll stick that in the wash. Now I'm going to do a contact print with that. However, there are two ways of doing contact print. You can do it when it's wet, or you can do it when it's dry. I haven't got time to spend drying it tonight, so I'm just going to do a wet contact print with that. And where am I going to set that up? I'll just put it here. This is not a good thing to do. Mixing, like bringing the wet stuff into the dry area, the dark green. But we'll put it on there. Okay. So I'm just giving that a good wash. One of the downsides of doing this quite quickly is really I should go and give a proper wash, because any leftover fix on this, when I do a contact print, will get transferred to the unexposed paper, which can lead to staining, and it can, like, the fixer can go in the developer, which is never good. But hopefully it'll be okay. So the contact print, it's the same process as kind of using the negatives, or doing the same sort of thing with the exposure. I'm going to piece the two together. The exposed page that we've already got is in the wash. It's going to go face down on top of an unexposed piece, and then I'm going to firelight to expose on top of that. Okay, so hopefully that's washed now. Right, oh. And I'm going to do that. There's my piece of perspex. First thing I'm going to get out is a dry bit of paper. Over here. So there's the unexposed paper. There's the wet print. And what will happen is that will start to stick. I'll put it down. can pre-soak in exposed paper as well here. Just going to use my hand like that, just push down it. I won't be wearing gloves now. That's just to form a nice tight seal between the two. Make sure there's good contact. Sometimes it's quite like I've done ones like this before where you get air bubbles trapped in. It's actually quite nice. I'm just going to give this a little dry around the edges just because I'm about to place it on my enlarger. I don't really want to any chemical spread there. So move that over there. And let's just take a guess again at 3. You can do test strips again like this. I'll just do 3 flashes. 2, 3. So I've just peeled off the previously exposed sheet. Here's the new one into the developer. Move that box out of the way. Okay, if there's any spillages. Quite a while to come through this. 3 flashes might not be enough for a contact print. That's not bad. Stop. Quite like the look of that. Very minimal. Possibly could do with a bit more exposure. Looking at it. Ready? That's 30 seconds. Take the light on. Oh yeah, definitely needs more exposure time. So the blacks are grey on this. Turn the lights on. And there we go. Bring this back to... Right, so what do we got? Let's just take this out of the wash. Very quick wash. It'll do for the time being. Put them side by side. Hopefully. Switch to this camera. Right, so there they are. So on the left we've got the photogram, which produces a negative image, and on the right we've got the contact print done from that. This one certainly has more impact. I I think part of that is because I haven't exposed this one enough. Nice if these areas here were actually black, but it's got a real depth to it, even though it's kind of strange. So you can see the shadow cast here from the light. I said the light would have been off at this angle. It was off at this angle on the original print. Very strange quality, but I really like it. So what I'll do is I'm going to write those notes down. Got a pen and paper. Always taking notes, and I can write down that was like 3 flashes at, it's 1/64 the strength of the flash, in larger height. And then when I come back to it, I know that what that was created at. So that's just notes to go with that front. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that. There's so many different things you can do with that. It's a fairly simple process, but that doesn't mean that your end results have to be simple at all. And you can, like, while you're stuck at home, I don't know about anybody else, but we've been doing like a bit of sorting, going through stuff, and you could pull out objects that are all connected together. Like, so this is that bottle, where I put it, yeah. Like I say, it's from my mum's old pharmacy. I could get a collection of things that I've got of hers and create prints from them. And that would make a nice little body of work then. That would sit well together for me, personally. I think that's it. Crikey. Been running 45 minutes. These were going to be short. Time flies in the darkroom, doesn't it? Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back sometime next week. Follow along on my Twitter feed. Where's that? That side. Look at that. At the Darkshed on Twitter and on Instagram. And tag any questions you've got, comments with Darkshed Live on there, or just put it in the comment section here, or in the comment section after it's gone live. If there's anything you'd like me to cover, I'm up for giving anything a go. It's just good fun. I haven't done this in ages, so yeah, it's nice to have a bit of inspiration. Take care, everybody. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.